Don't Play In, who used to be called Play In, It's Okay, on Kennen, Doladro on Skarner, Bambusha on Karthus, and Psycho on Irelia. I hope I'm not butchering his name, sorry if I am. And then over on the other side, we have Tabuna on Ashe, Korololololol on Janna, Lunatics on Warwick, and Attackman on Morgana. The other one was Carrionis in the jungle with Nocturne. When he's loading, hopefully.
Whenever he connects, yeah. So we have a Clairvoyance on Peculiar's team, nothing on ESC, so Clairvoyance, so they're going to be a little bit blind at the start, so I don't know whether they're going to go for any early invades. Judging by their team, they're both pretty squishy, so nobody really has a bigger advantage. Of course, you got the big crits that could come from Ashe, so I would suspect there's going to be no invades at the start. What that does mean is, of course, you got the heal flash AD damage, which is pretty much standard these days between the two. You can see they both got it. And of course in the jungle you're going to have the smite, which Carrionis is definitely going to be having, I guess, whenever he loads. Doesn't seem to be connecting, which is a bit of an issue. We actually have flash smite as well from Sona down the bottom. So using the Smite Exhaust, I don't know where I pulled Smite from. Exhaust down the bottom. So we're going to expect to see Sona possibly flashing out and exhausting on towards Ashe and trying to pin him down. And of course, follow that up by a Kennen ulti or a stun of any form, really. It could be a pretty nasty combo. Along with, don't forget, Skarner is going to be helping them out down the bottom there. Aurelia up top, well, actually gone with a flash. Smite. I keep saying smite. What have I got smite in my head? I don't know. Flash ignite is the word I'm after. Up the top there. So going pretty aggressive. We've seen a lot lately. I think I seem to recall seeing Wicked definitely been taking heal on the top lane. It's one of those that seems to be becoming more and more commonplace. Whereas you could do, or back in the early days, from what I remember from the early gaming sessions, was, oh my god, you got heal, such a noob. But now it's actually becoming pretty commonplace for most of the top level teams.
Yeah, and the teams are just having a little bit of a discussion here. I can bring it up for you and try and translate it best that I can. And they want to say remake because his client starter doesn't start. Sona, which is Luke said, there is no remake. The rules are so, like that. Janna says his client doesn't start. And then Sona says he has to join he has to join afterwards as fast as he can. And Janna says, wow, nice attitude. And Luke says, rules are rules. And then apparently there's a login queue, which is not good either.
Not good. I didn't have a login queue. I logged in just before this match, so I guess it must have just started. It can't be a very big one if it is, but it's a bit of a shame if you can't get in here. But there we go. See, that couldn't have been much of a login queue.
Now that was Blunatics, right?
That was Blunatics, yeah.
But Blunatics left when they said remake, but it's Carrionis who's not connected.
Oh, so that is not good. Yeah, and you can see him just stood at the base. There he is, Nocturne. And it's the jungler as well, which makes it even worse, because the jungler needs to be in place and setting up. At least they're not doing a full invade, but I don't think they ever intended to do an invade either. So, not good sportsmanship to start off with. Sticking with the rules, I guess. That's one thing. But from our perspective, it's not too bad. There we go, he's reconnected. But he's... see that he's late, because in 154 that's going to spawn the blue, and yeah, he's missing out the start, so he's going to need a pull from someone so they can interfere, so that will affect the game immediately for Peculiar Gaming here. And you can see he's late getting down to this blue, which is already spawned. Janna's getting into position. Meanwhile, you can see that Skarner already has the advantage and has that blue. So, well, Joe, we had talked about team sportsmanship the other day, didn't we? I'm not too sure where this one really lies.
Yeah, I know it's one of those things where if it's in the rules, it's in the rules, but still there would be no reason to not say, you know what, let's just do a remake, guys. Does it really make that much of a difference? I mean, you're just giving yourself that advantage right from the start, which I can understand. Wow, look at the damage there right away. Onto Ashe down the bottom. And what did she start with? Say boots and 3 pots. So we'll be able to heal herself up there. Obviously, as Janna as her support in that bottom lane, so no constant heal from Janna, whereas we will see Kennen having those heals from Sona, who has actually leveled up, first of all, in Hymn of Valor. Just we'll try and keep an eye on that one as things go through. I'm sure you guys will be interested. And 1 point straight in the W as she levels as well.
Yeah, it actually reminds me of the World Cyber Games, the 3rd, 4th place playoff, where they had a similar situation. Maokai obviously needed to get in the jungle set up on the Wraiths, and had a disconnect, and they didn't restart it there either. they were like, I don't know whether it was actually the teams or it was the admin back then that said, no, we're not going to think, well, we're just going to go ahead. And he's like, what? And he started off like 2 levels behind. But you can see immediately it's actually affected the bottom lane, because Ashe was on his own at the start. So Ashe got harassed, didn't have Janna there to support him, so immediately has taken the damage, and that's put them on the back foot straight away. So it all just snowballs onto that. Meanwhile, at the top, you can see Blunetix has that lane pretty well pushed against Aurelia. That's no shock. Early on, Warwick will be stronger in the first few levels, and Karanis is really playing catch-up here. You can see he's a level behind. We've got a double buffed up Skarner. Is he going to go around? No. He's going to port back, so nothing coming from that. Let's have a look towards the middle. You can see it's fairly even between the two. No huge advantage in terms of CS. It's just 1 between them. So very, very close. And the Attackman actually pushing the lane a little bit more than Bambucha is allowed. Going to be fun, these names. Just going to try to get my mouth around them, as it were. Sounds a bit wrong, that does, but...
Not the first time, right?
Not going down that road. So down the bottom you can see it is actually started to level itself out, so Ashe is obviously going to start pushing this one out. But you know, Ashe wants to try and assert a bit of pressure on Kennen, because the last thing you want to do is just let Kennen get the free farm. He missed the CS there as soon as I focused on him.
Yeah, and playing, of course, a long stayer in the German EPS community. Actually, was when we did the first ever League of Legends show here on ESL TV, was my co-moderator. Nicely came in and gave us a hand with that one. So that's how I know him for such a long time. There was Doladro, actually, Skarner coming down into that bottom lane for a bit of a gank, which they actually spotted him in there, and he decided just to portal home. Attackman, again, continues to pressure and just shaves by there with the lockdown. The dot binding is the word that I was looking for. Did connect with the tormented soil, so that could have been a little bit nasty for Karthus if that would have connected, that dot binding. So nicely dodged from Bambusha. But early game, no first blood, still up at the top. Psycho is that little bit further ahead in terms of experience than Blunetix. He's got a big wave actually pushed onto his tower. Meanwhile, down at the bottom, they continue to harass Ashe, who, I don't know how many pots. Yeah, she's got none left now, so all 3 pots used up by Ashe, and this is where it gets a little bit dangerous for them. Obviously, it does still have the heal, which is something that they'll have to take into consideration moving forward. Playing has actually missed quite a bit of CS here, I've noticed in there. If you look early on the actual totals, it's 38 to 37. So despite having that real control and zoning Ashe out fairly early on, they've actually he's actually lost out a little bit in there. You see that shield just being brought in by Janna just to try and limit that damage that's coming out onto Ashe, but certainly a great job early on from ESC in the bottom lane.
Yeah, and I'm just keeping my eye on the top lane. That Psycho's actually been sat in that bush for a while now, trying to maybe bait Blunetix into coming out, but surely Blunetix, even if he face checks there, he's not going to get a great deal of damage done to him. Meanwhile, he's been happily CSing, and wow, and he's just going to pop that ulti, try and draw the lane out as much as possible. Blunetix actually popping his attack speed, so he's going to try and lay down more damage on towards Psycho, trying to draw him into it. Bearing in mind, he doesn't have his ulti. Blunetix could easily ulti on him, but he doesn't choose to, continues out that farm. And well, Psycho missing out on the CS doing this, so let's have a look between the two. 36 to 46, so yeah, that 10 advantage. I couldn't quite understand it. I was watching him to see what he was doing. I was like, he's losing out. He made no attempt to go out and get it. Looking in towards the middle, you can see that Doladro has had to come out and try and cover off the mid, while Karthus has gone back and bought. Karthus now with that catalyst of the Protector. And meanwhile, Morgana did go back and got the double Doran's Blade. Just keeping my eye on Nocturne. I think he's going to ward. No, he doesn't. Doesn't have a ward in his pocket. So where is he going? I think they're going to try to attack on the blue here. They realise they've gone across. They can see that they can see the Leigh waste going across. They're going to go straight towards Bambusha. Will manage to try and lay down a bit of damage to him. Is it going to be enough? Because there is a 3v2 and they've realised it. They've tried to pull out of it. They do get first blood down, but I think Karanis will pay for that one. But Attackman's going to walk away. But I think I'd take an AP carry going down towards my jungler any day of the week, so I think definitely coming out on top of that one. They didn't manage to get the blue though. That did go to Doladro, but it's prevented Karthus picking it up, so it has worked out very nicely for Peculiar considering the start they had, Joe.
Yeah, a real nice little start for them. Down at the bottom, we did see Ash actually going home, which, to be honest, she was super low. That would have been ridiculously bad if she'd not have gone home at that exact time, because Carthus popped his ulti, and I think she was low enough that it would have actually caught her out. She didn't use a heal. It was on cooldown, so maybe that would have saved her if that Carthus ulti had have popped up and she wasn't already home on the fountain. Meanwhile, up at top, we are seeing Psycho putting out a little bit more damage onto Blunatix, just trying to push him out of this lane as much as he can. And actually does have a nice little health advantage in towards him there. But the CS remains 39 to 62, so Blunatix still has that little advantage, but constant harass up at that top area, and Blunatix has to be careful. I mean, the good thing for Blunatix that, you know, he can keep up with that constant heal. He can use his ulti when he needs to if Irelia decides to get too close onto that turret. Meanwhile, down at bottom, Ash has actually managed to push this lane a little bit more as Luke does come back with Sona down at the bottom. But we are 1 kill for 1. The gold bang on even at 10.8k. Still a super open game between these two. Great stuff.
Very close game. We can see Skarner sneaking in the bottom jungle. Karanius is already there, so Nocturne ready and waiting to go. Don't play in, has come back in. It's actually Luke they've gone for, though, so he's going to get immediately popped in. Yeah, Crescendo did go across, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Has managed to grab on Ash there. Ash will be able to back out of that one. Does use his heal, and again, the damage continuing to go down on Kennen there. Ash will finally go down. Now Jan is in all sorts of trouble. Attackman is coming behind. No, can he catch anyone out with that Dark Binders? Will flash in, pops his ulti off. Actually catching down on Don't Play In. No messing there. Got Dark Binders still to go. Will take down Dolladro, and that has worked again very well in the favour of Peculiar. Carthus was coming down, but he was way too late for that party, and that worked out very, very well. And again, that was just like I say that, and Ash Initiate is going to launch in Nocturne, so he can just jump straight on it. So immediately half the damage was done before they even came out of it, and if they do pull out this dragon, look like they will, they are really going to come out on top of this fight.
Yeah, really great stuff there, and it was never going to end well once that Morgana came down at the pace that she did. Bambusha was far too slow in there. Actually, Corolo having to pop his ulti here, and actually Bambusha's fancying his chances, but he needs to be careful. They're all going to dive on him. Attackman going low. Corolo is very low. In fact, Attackman's got basically no HP. Janna's going to go down, but Carianis is going to get that kill, and you have to wonder once again, was it worth it? I don't think so.
Yeah, he didn't have his ulti, which is what he could have done with it. He has got his ulti. Why didn't he use it? He could have got Attackman. He definitely could have got Attackman. Whether he would have shielded it, but I still don't think it'd have been enough to prevent it. Wow, Ash meanwhile down the bottom there is getting caught out, and Psycho has gone down at the top as well. But wow, look at Ash immediately. Only just come back to lane, immediately taken straight down. Meanwhile, Blunatix up the top, killing off Aurelia as well. So very close stuff all across the map, but it is going in the favour of Peculiar. And you know what? I'm quite happy about that, because I'm still not sure about that start of the game. And I think the Peculiar fans will be happy as well. We do have Warwick. I'm not too sure how he managed to win out that lane, because he was struggling earlier on. He didn't really have the same lifesteal back that Aurelia was getting. Obviously, Aurelia can go through nerf after nerf after nerf and still be incredibly strong. Still is that there.
It's possible to break her, I think.
I think in Freak's words, he said that Aurelius actually starts with 3 hit point base now and still manages to lifesteal it all back. but yeah, he's incredibly strong, and you're just going to have to keep going through those, rinsing through those nerfs. But Ash has been struggling a little bit down the bottom here, despite getting those kills. Has gone back, picked up a double Doran's Blade along with that Vampiric Scepter he had earlier on, and then boots, so the Berserker Greaves now. But yeah, every time he gets caught out, he gets a chunk of damage off Kennen. And of course, he has got that Wriggles Lantern with those Berserker Greaves. So that extra damage, that is the middle lane looking towards it. And that's going to be Bombucha going down. Surely he's just going to get Fear Procs off, and that will work him against it. And then, well, even if he pops his ulti, it will do nothing. I don't know whether he'll help out down the bottom. You can see Skarner tried to get in there. Oh, great ulti there, picking Corolla away from that tower. Has used the Monsoon. I'm not too sure whether he'd get away with it. Hasn't got flash, and a great stun from playing there. So that worked out very well. And he's saying this bug. I'm not sure what bug he's referring to. It was
up at top, we've got Psycho in trouble as well. Actually, Warwick is going to get that kill. And they were trading off, and Warwick's like, guess what? Your damage is gone, and I've still got my ulti up. You're not escaping from that one. Yeah, I'm not sure what bug he actually meant there, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. Maybe we'll get a bit of feedback from the players later. But it seemed a very long-range grab. Maybe it was that. Maybe that's what he was referring to. But the problem is, he went to the right side of the turret, which makes it so easy for a grab like that because you've got nowhere to maneuver. So it's just like, well, I'll just aim straight for that spot and pull him back. Meanwhile, you can see blue buff is being picked up. Bambucha is going to get it without contest this time.
Yeah, that blue buff is going to go over to him. That'll help out in the middle. I mean, he needs it at the moment. He's 1-3-1 compared to 3-0-2. Blasting one double Doran's ring on Morgana, and she's got 1,400 gold at the moment. So we'll be able to go back for a needlessly large rod at some point very, very soon. Doladro is actually in here ready and waiting at that side of the brushwood. I'm not sure that they're going to do anything. That lane is a little bit too heavily pushed, and Attackman's just going to say thank you very much. I'll take that CS and not really have any problems. Bottom tower is fairly low as well for ESC at this point, and you can understand it as well. Ash has had a torrid time trying to deal with the pressure that's coming down at this bottom from Kennen. He's been playing so great so far, don't play in. And you have to take your hat off to him at that one. Actually, we've got Skarner up at top now. There's pings going off, so they expect that Skarner is there. I guess they spotted him with this ward down at the end of that area. And actually, we are going to see Skarner work his way in, and there's a flash used by Blunatix. They're surely not going to have enough damage, but the ulti is up and ready. Karthus ulti will follow in as well, but is there enough damage to take down Blunatix? They're going to dive in there. Blunatix does use his ulti to try and do as much damage as he possibly could, and there's the ulti from Nocturne down at the bottom. Luke has been caught out completely, and there is the killing spree for Carianas. And whilst ESC have done well in this bottom lane, the ganks have been sublime from the other side. It leaves us with a 9-5 scoreline. Dragon should be up in just a little while, but that up at top was an important kill in onto Warwick. I feel like he's been getting a little bit too much up there. However, will this bottom turret go down? There are 4 of them putting the pressure in. Don't play in is there, but you can see that the attack damage coming in onto that is just going to be far too much, and that turret is going to fall. So despite the fact that Ash had trouble in the lane, they're the ones that are going to pick up this turret. Meanwhile, in middle, Bambusha does have that siege minion with him, and I'm not sure why he's really moving around there. He should just keep attacking. Maybe he wants
he's
to
using
leave.
the... You can actually get a quicker attack. Oh, it's just been caught out by Attackman there. Also, just the top was being beaten down as well. That kill actually from Warwick, all led from the fact they knew Warwick was going to be very aggressive because he just got those 2 kills, knew he was going to be stronger. But regarding the movement there, you actually get a quicker attack animation. Therefore, you can attack faster if you just move. He's moving it precisely, but as soon as the attack animation goes out, he's moving again, and it resets the animation quicker than just standing still, which is, I assume, what he was aiming for there. I don't think he was just moving for the sake of moving. Anyway, that's what I'm guessing it was his plan was. I didn't see whether it was actually working for him because I only just caught a glimpse of it towards the end. Blunatix, meanwhile, you can see he's warded up in that tri-bush. We do have Skarner again making his way up there. I'm not too sure whether he ninjaed his way in enough from those minions, but he's actually heading south because, well, the dragon's going to be up. So immediately we've got Aurelia and Skarner up the top there. Now they've realised, they've got, crap, we need to head south because they just saw Warwick passing that ward that was up the race, and immediately they're ready in position for that dragon to spawn. There it is. I'm not too sure whether Skarner and Aurelia can get down here in time before this even goes down because they've already got BF swords. They've got Wriggles Lantern. There you go. Ulti on Bambucha. They're going to catch him out. Oh, wow. He was not getting out of that one. Massively chain stun. Blunatix ulti followed by the Ash Arrow, followed by a Dark Bindings. There was no escaping for Karthus there. Absolutely no chance. And Blunatix, well, he's just going to go back up to top. I'm not sure that's the right choice because the middle has been left. Oh, Karanas is definitely going to cover it off. I was going to say Aurelia could have actually pushed that tower and probably taken it down because there's not a great deal of hit points left with it. He does wisely go up towards the top though, back to continue feeding on his lane. He did go with a Wit's End, which he had before he got taken out by Skarner and Aurelia in there. And Aurelia, meanwhile, is building up towards, I'm guessing, a Trinity Force. See, Blunatix now feeling confident against Psycho, despite the fact he did just die a minute ago. It's like, yeah, you can 2v1 me, but 1v1, I'm gonna eat you alive. And it seems to be working out very well for Blunatix at the moment.
Yeah, with his Wit's End finished now as well, that makes it even more ridiculous. I think Phage in there as well. Still only got the level 1 boots, but I'm not sure that he's too worried about that whole thing. Meanwhile, we are seeing Peculiar gathering inside of that middle area. What's the turret situation? Around about 2/3 of the HP. About a third left for the Peculiar one as well. So they want to make sure that they've got the cover for that one. Meanwhile, up at top, Warwick is moving in once again for the kill onto this turret. Will he get enough damage on time? Not really. Psycho has managed to get himself back into that lane. will clear that one out. As you said, he does have that Sheen and Phage built up, looking like he's going to be going straight in for that damage with the Trinity Force. Meanwhile, Bambusho's had a bit of a torrid time of it, and this is what we pointed out, Deman. AP carry first pick. It's not always the best thing that you can have, especially since his game's not gone good for him. He is one of those hyper carries, like you said, that even if you counter him, it can still work his way sometimes. Meanwhile, up at top, we are seeing Psycho taking some damage. Ulti's going to go off from Nocturne. Turret is very, very low. Slow is going to go in. Fear procced as well. Wow, that is a very, very dead Irelia. Everything going to plan. Up in that top lane, great positioning, and that's a good thing about Nocturne, you know. You don't have to be so sneaky there with those ganks. That arrow, I think it skimmed the nose of every single player almost in that team. Meanwhile, in the middle, flash away from playing. Good move. Otherwise, that ulti was going to proc onto him, and he would have been, I'd imagine, a very, very dead man.
Top lane.
He's trying to hold this one out, and we are seeing that push coming in up at top. Blunatix is like, lol, I'm just going to walk away from this one.
Completely split them in half. They didn't know what to target for until he went, oh, they've both got away. But did you notice the arrow also showing on the map there as well in the spec mode?
That's lovely.
Yeah, like and that is going to be Don't Play Ain't going down in the middle there, so Ash managed to finish him off. But yeah, back towards that top. It was a great little gank because Irelia actually managed to stun Warwick, knew what was coming, sussed out, I think whether he'd spotted Nocturne or not. As soon as that ulti came in, he dived in, flashed away after the stun, and Warwick had to flash and ulti, and the fear proc just turned him in towards Warwick so you could get to land that ulti onto him in time. If it had gone the other way, I don't think it'd have got there in time. It'd have had to have been a full tower dive and maybe not gone quite so well, but as is the case, it is working out superbly, and that is all three outer turrets now down for Peculiar Gaming. So they've pushed on very well from this start. It's 5-12. It's still far from over here because he can easily swing it in the way. One bad dragon fight or a Baron attempt here can easily swing it in favour of ESC, and I don't expect them to certainly give in just yet. Blunatix has been doing a fantastic job on Warwick, a superb job. Also, actually, I haven't managed to notice. I know we were meant to be getting this. I don't know whether you saw it, Joe, in the patch notes that we're going to get this alert on the spectator mode of when a top item's bought. I've not been keeping my eye down there, but I can see the Infinity Edge has been completed and Radipodon's Death Cap, so maybe I'm missing it. Maybe I'm blind or something. I don't know, but I'm just not spotting it. Oh, back in the middle. Psycho's just been caught out with the arrow there. And he's backed away, wisely so. The rest of his team had come out and support. Attackman was ready and waiting. Now Dollar's coming straight in, trying to get onto him. Has Howling Gale and blown away beautifully from the Monsoon of Corolla. Very well played there. I'm pretty sure, you know, that ulti went out. I don't know whether it actually managed to connect or whether the Monsoon blew it out before it managed to land that hook.
It was close for sure. That was really, really close. I'm not sure if it, like you say, if it landed or what that really was going on there, but we are seeing Peculiar starting to move their way down into this middle turret, and they need to be careful, ESC, because a good dart binder and they could end up jumping in there. I mean, what, level 12 to 14 is what we have here. They don't really want to be fighting on that turret, but the poke at the moment, it's all landing. It's all landing in the right places. Carthus taking damage, Plaint taking damage. They're going to wait for this next wave of minions, and you can see that the blue team of ESC have decided we should probably leave this turret, guys. It's not going to end well if we do decide to stick around. Ash's arrow is actually on cooldown at the moment. However, Warwick has his ulti up. Ulti is up for Morgana as well, so they need to be very careful as to what they decide to do from this one. And it's no surprise to see that Peculiar just clearing out as much of that jungle as they can. And look at the ward coverage as well from Peculiar. Real good stuff. 3 already in this top side. There's one just outside Baron. There's one further down in that middle lane. They've got the bottom side of the jungle warded up there. We do now have an Oracle on Sona, so they'll try and clear that out a little bit. But you know, ESC, they're starting to move forward, and I don't think this is a real good time for them to be thinking about having a fight.
Yeah, they definitely don't want to get caught out, especially Luke, who just got separated a little bit there, laid down a double ward into the dragon there. One at the entrance, and then a bluff one, and then putting a sneaky one in the back pit. So hoping that they don't spot it, I think, there. Let's see whether they manage to catch anyone out. And yes, someone noticed that Skarner's ulti was indeed used, despite the fact he didn't hook on there. He did actually start to cast it, you saw it come out, didn't quite manage to catch on. So Ash arrow is back up. Let's see whether that arrow manages to find its target. Bambuch has been caught out a few too many times, poked forward. There goes the Hawk shot. They know it's there. They've managed to clear out. And that is exactly a clever move from ESC. See, they did take out that front ward, and they didn't even think to look for the second one. This in the back there. They still have full vision. Attackman's ulti will go off. Kennan's ulti is completely ineffective there because Blunetix managed to ulti on him. Meanwhile, down the side here, you can see Bambucha's trying to catch on. And the Ash Arrow goes down. It landed on Psycho. Psycho will go down in amongst there. Finally, Attackman also gets a kill, but he goes down in amongst that Defile. And while the Karthus ulti will maybe take down Corolla, Corolla heavily damaged up there. Dollar's trying his best to get away from this one. Will surely get caught out by Corolla's spear. Yes, he will do. That's got to be the end of him. The Ash Arrow did land, so that's going to slow him just enough to catch on. But a very close exchange, considering the scores, Joe. That could have easily gone the way of ESC there, but playing just didn't manage to make use of that ulti. It's so the second he ulted in there, Warwick ulted on top of him and it just stunned him away from it. So the only people he was affecting was two there, and the stun hadn't landed, so he just immediately countered it. So great play from Warwick once again.
Luckily for the viewers here on ESL TV, just as that fight kicked off, Deman went into robot mode.
Nice.
Yeah. So it was more like in that fight. But yeah, good stuff. And as you say, that could have really gone either way. Let's quickly reconnect the call if that works for you, and then hopefully it fixes it.
Go for it.
So here we go then.
How's that?
That's perfect.
It was such a good fight, bit of play-by-play. Hey, don't worry. You guys that are watching on my YouTube, you got it all. It's all right.
You guys that want to check out the videos, or if you're already checking them out in the future, you got to hear it all perfectly fine. But good stuff. Yeah, and I still feeling now ESC losing many now. Oh, they need to be careful. Skarner actually does have that ulti up, and it's a dangerous position if they manage to pull one through. But we are seeing Peculiar now headed down on towards this bottom lane. They've got a decent stack of minions to come in there with them as well. And it would be a 5-on-5 fight if they decide to go in for this one. I'm sure Doladro really fancies his chances of dragging someone into the midst of everything. But look at that, there's a wolf in the bush. And that's always going to be scary when this Warwick decides he's going to pop out there and cause you all kinds of problems. Ultis are up across the board now. I think except Karthus and Irelia, who uses to actually just farm out and keep that bottom lane safe. And they know Blunetix is sat in the bush the whole time. And Kennan's like, Shuriken, we know you're there, bro. But yeah, a red buff, it is up. It's going to be stolen away by Peculiar. And slowly but surely going in the way of Peculiar, which, as you mentioned, Deman, I'm not too unhappy about as an unbiased commentator. The start to this game probably made a few more Peculiar gaming fans than it did ESC gaming fans.
Yeah, they did themselves no favours with it was more the chat than anything, but you know what? It's that they're playing it by the rules, and that's fine. Can't knock them too badly for that, but in terms of sportsmanship, it doesn't look good. It didn't look good, but it doesn't matter because Peculiar have managed to pull themselves into this game superbly well with some excellent ganks. And the irony is that it's been Nocturne that's been making those excellent ganks. So Karen is obviously with something to prove after all that. Oh, Dollar is going to walk straight into a big gank here. Will it be Dollar they go for? Crescendo does manage to go across the whole team, though. That could backfire. Bambucha is low, but he's not the one you really want to be killing. Psycho does go down. That ulti may take down Attackman. No, because the Monsoon came out from Corolla. Just about saving it. Oh, stood on the Leigh waist there. Nearly got taken down at the end. But that was a double kill and a 4-for-1. And that is surely going to be Baron attempt. Kennen is still alive though. Doesn't have his ulti though, so I don't think he's going to be able to offer too much. Could take down Corolla though. Remember, Corolla stood there at very low health with that Oracle. Would be worth going for.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, I don't know if he wants to wait here and maybe make it somewhat of an ambush after that Baron's gone and take it away from them. After it's
he's gone.
Taken down, he's gone. He's well gone down onto this bottom side. That Baron is going to be picked up. Blunetix is going home, and You know, after all that, he's super healthy. Actually, Wits End, just to run down his build for you guys at home. Phage, Wits End, Giant Spell, and just finished off his Frozen Heart.
Did you see that though? Do you see it? Look, it does show it. It enlarges when they get the item Frozen Mallet. Oh, an Infinity Edge. Wow, I'm seeing it now. You see? Know what to look for now.
Pop. There it is. Yeah, I like it. Good stuff, Riot. It's nice. I mean, the thing is, in the midst of battle, that's the problem. You've still got to focus a little bit to see it come up. But those kind of features making spectator mode that little bit more awesome. And I have to give credit where credit's due for that one. Anyway, we do have Baron buff on with Peculiar. Attackman is going to be taking himself slowly but surely the blue buff over here as well. As you mentioned, Kurianis on Nocturne, the one who had the disconnect right from the start. He's been pretty much perfect every time with that ulti. He's currently 5-1-10 in the scoreboard. And, well, if you compare it to the 0-3-6, for example, of his jungler over on the opposition team, that's a great performance so far from Nocturne. But it's Warwick at 6-1-5, Morgana 5-1-9. You know, you compare it over towards the other side, the two top lanes, 6-1-5 to 2-5-1 plus the CS advantage. Middle, 3-6-2 for Karthus, 5-1-9 for Morgana, although CS advantage is with Karthus at that stage. And it's just looking like one of those games where when you get to this stage, when you get to a half-an-hour game and the scores at this stage, it's Peculiar's game to lose rather than anything.
Yeah, they'd have to throw it pretty hard. But it's, you know, a bad dive here. Bear in mind that the fights have been fairly close. They still have to be... Look at Blunatics dancing.
Just care about the damage that's coming in here. That's the most important thing. It's like, wow. Lifesteal.
Dancing away on the tower. Here we go. They're going to dive in for it. The bad dive could actually backfire for them, but they do have the Baron buff. They are going to finally go in. The Ash Arrow managed to land on towards Bambucha there. Actually, Nocturne diving straight towards the fountain. Dollar will get caught out. Bambucha has gone down. Dollar goes down as well. Psycho, surely no. They're not going to dive on the turret. Been a little bit too far to go. They will pick up the inhibitor though. Well, don't play. Trying his best and then goes, yeah, now the Janna ulti's gone off. There is not really a lot to pick from here. It's a fully healed up team, and Blunatics continue to try and bait them into doing something. The wave of minions coming in, but they've pinged towards the middle base tower. But you know what? I think it's a bit of a discussion between them. Like, no, let's just take these Nexus turrets out, finish it off. Psycho goes down very quickly, and Joe, this is going to be GG to Peculiar in week 2 or match 2, whatever you'd like to call it, Playday 2 of the ESL Spring 2012 EPS Germany. So that is picking up a win where obviously they lost their opening game, so an important one for them. So both teams going into 1-1 now.
Yeah, both teams at 1-1, and that's what we like to see even in the early stages of tournaments like this. The fact that both teams, you know, they still have a long way to go in the season. Let's not forget there are 12 teams in the league itself. They've got to play each other twice, which is why I guess we've got 2 play days per week, the Monday and the Wednesday. But anyway, here we go. Let's have a look quickly down the post-game screen, the scoreboard here, and I'm going to start off with Peculiar, the winners of this game. So, Attackman on Morgana, 6-1-11. Blunatics on Warwick, 7-1-7. Carolo on Janna, 1-2-11. Ash didn't really get into it that much. 3-2-11 there as well. Nocturne 5-1-12. There were some good arrows from Ash, though. I'm not going to say that Tabuno played bad or anything. He was solid and he just didn't have that many kills in the end. But ESC, Psycho on Irelia up top, 2-6-1. Bambucha in the middle on Karthus, 3-7-2. Luke on Sona, 0-3-4. Playing on Kennen, 2-2-1. And Doladro on Skarner, 0-4-6. A much-deserved victory, a very solid performance, actually, from Peculiar against one of the teams which a good few people were expecting to be the favourites for this whole tournament, never mind just today.
Yeah, so Logics versus Acernex, so big game coming up again. So it was just a best of one, that was just a weak stage game. So on to the next one, Joe.
On to the next one, we're going to be moving into match number 2 of the night, and it will actually be Logics versus Team Acer. Some big names in this one as well, some names that you'll certainly be familiar with. Sleazy Weezy, probably the biggest out of them all, of course, was a 5th man for SK at the Intel Extreme Masters Global Challenge in Kiev. But while we get ready to kick off this second match. Obviously, me and Deman need to get ourselves into game, and I know put us over to a quick advertisement break with a little bit of music. But when we come back, it will be Logix versus Acer. So don't go anywhere. Spam your Twitter, spam your Facebook, get yourself in IRC, and don't forget to get in the Twitch TV chat as well. There's quite a few people having a talk. So we'll see you soon for match number 2.